we all saw that river as we came over it. This is one of the reasons this keeps open here. There's this little river that we actually have to stay beside this hill because we are actually in the deepest part of this little bit of the sound. We have the Pelorus River, who's going to run in on our port side in a moment, and where the two meet is the start of the Pelorus Sound. I always say that the start is up in Havelock, and that's the port that we left. The reason I do is because all of this is salt water, so it's all the way up into there, but they say officially it doesn't start until we're just about another 30 feet in front of the boat. So I have to wait now. Just talk amongst yourselves. Waiting. And waiting.
Also, it's going to be right over there, right there.
Still waiting. Right, here you go. Welcome to the Pelorus Sound, guys.
Okay.
That was worth the wait, wasn't it? So this is the longest inland waterway in the southern hemisphere. And this goes 54 kilometres all the way out to the open ocean. So this is all salt water. And we are just past high tide, so we have 3 metres or 9 feet of water come and go each 6.5 hours. So guys, these are actually a sound. These are not a fjord. You're going down to what they call Milford Sound, which is actually a fjord, not a sound. Anyone caught up yet? We're all there? Right. Now let me just tell you a little bit different on what happens. This is a sound. This is a sunken river valley. So you get the rivers always ran out to the open ocean, Ice Age melts, and in came all this salt water flooding the whole area. So by definition, a sound is a sunken river valley. Now the next difference is, a fjord is created by an ice glacier moving down the hill, carving its way out and cracking its way through to the open ocean. And once it gets there, of course the salt water being warmer, melts all of that all the way back up and you get a fjord. 3 big differences between a sound and a fjord. Firstly, there's the spelling. That's one. The next one is, oh hang on, that was my chef's joke, and now I've got to answer the telephone. Wait a second. Yes, chef.
Hey, you took my line, mate.
Okay, chef. Now, the next one is that a sound will always get deeper the closer you get to the open ocean, and a fjord will always get shallower. Water always ran downhill, so the natural landslide or land direction was downhill in these sounds. And in a fjord, of course, it starts up the mountain, and as it digs its way down, it starts to melt, and it gets shallower as it gets closer to the top, or closer to the sea. So there's the 3 differences. The other one is that here at the moment, even at high tide, we have only 2.5 metres, or 6 feet, nearly 7 feet of water underneath the boat. Okay, so it's going to get deeper as we go out further and further. And the deepest part here in the Sounds is 72 metres, and that's almost all the way out to the start of the Sound. A fjord can have anywhere between 200 and 400 metres of water in it. So there's a big difference in the water depth as well. So you're in a Sound. We have 4 of these sounds here. Sounds like a lot of sounds. This one, the Pelorus. Now the Pelorus is the longest of all 4. And then we have the Queen Charlotte Sound, which is the only one that we don't get to visit today because that's over in the Picton side. And it'll take me about 6.5 hours to steam this vessel all the way out, around and back through to that side. The inter-island ferries that we have here that go from the South Island across to the North Island all come into Picton, which is in the Queen Charlotte. So those inter-island ferries don't come into here. The other thing with the inter-island ferries that they'll take cars, trucks, boats, trains, and even humans. Everything you see today, everything you're looking at, all the land masses are still attached to the mainland. So there are no little islands. We're not going to see any little islands around here today. They're all attached. We have over 900 miles of coastline here in Marlborough. So there's a huge amount of coastline here. Now, before I get too much further down here, I've got to do a couple of other announcements that I'm supposed to have already done, and I've forgotten about them. The first one, I'm sorry guys, but I've got a couple of no-go areas. The first one is into the bar or the galley area. We are a fully licensed vessel, and now, of course, now that we've left the marina, the bar is now open. Stay there, wait a minute. Doesn't make my jokes any better, rushing off to the bar. Right, so, and also we've got Hamish down there cooking in the galley, and I'd ask you nicely not to go in there and disturb him, because there's a lot of bad things that, there's got a lot of heat and all sorts of things happening down there. The other one is back out through the gate that you came on the boat. I ask you nicely to stay within the stainless steel of the boat. We've closed those back gates. And when we get down here, we're going to pull up on a mussel farm, and we're going to tie up to it. And then you guys, if you want to, you can go for a swim then. But please stay on board while we're going along. If somebody does fall over the side, can the rest of the people on the boat, please, as soon as possible, get hold of the crew and myself, because we would like a good laugh too. Now, hang on, that's not right. Wait a minute. I know what it is. I know what it is. We know what to do. So we'll get you back on board as soon as possible without too many photos and things like that. So, but on a serious note, if you do need to know or want to know more about the safety equipment and safety procedures on this vessel, there is a briefing sheet just outside the bar, or you're more than welcome to ask one of the crew or myself. Not that we know, but I said that out loud.
Yeah, I heard you.
I got the stuff now.
Yeah, turn off that.
No, that's
I got to turn this mic off every
Let me
day.
get my camera.
Okay, guys. Now back to all the good stuff.